Hello, friend. Welcome to day 14 of our 20-day challenge together. I'm your host, Alicia Carrasco, entrepreneur, author, wife, and mom of two. And if this is the very first episode that you're listening to and you're wondering what the 20-day challenge is, let me explain you very quickly in hopes that you also want to join in. So for the first 20 episodes of this podcast, I propose to be your guide on your journey of self-transformation by committing 20 days to listen to the corresponding episode where we dive deep into the keys and techniques to explore your inner self, and then do your 3 to 5 minute journaling reflection at the end of each episode. So, if you'd like to take me up on this challenge, go ahead and keep listening to this very same episode, or you can always go back to day one and get started from the very beginning. So, we are walking towards the last 6 days of our challenge together. And I want to take a minute to recognize your effort and give you my most honest congratulations for making it that far. 14 days already, following this challenge and committing to doing the inner work daily through all the journaling reflection exercises. I know it is not easy at all, and it requires a lot of commitment. And you are showing it to yourself right now. And most importantly, you are showing it to your subconscious mind. You are establishing with this commitment, these 20 days, you are establishing your new identity, the new you, the person that you are now, a person who is committed to starting on this journey of self transformation, self discovery, and becoming the best version that you can be in this world for you and for the people around you. So, congratulations again, and go ahead and give yourself a big hug. I'd hug you if I was there with you, and send your heart and soul lots of love to recognize your commitment to this amazing journey. So, that being said, today, we're going to dive deep into the 5 questions to ask yourself in order to understand better what your purpose might be. Many people become blocked when setting out on this path of self discovery because they do not know where to begin looking. Nobody has ever explained to them where to look if they want to reencounter their inner part that contains their purpose, right? However, taking the first steps is not just complicated as it may seem at the beginning. It really just means to asking yourself the right questions and answering straight from your heart, leaving aside any fears or restrictive thoughts or any societal expectations. So, there are 5 questions that in the past have really helped me a lot in this journey of finding my purpose. I'm going to share them with you right now, and I hope you find them useful as well as help you to gain clarity. So, the first question is, if money was not an issue and you had all the time in the world, what would you do? So, to answer this first question, if you can, please close your eyes, take a few breaths as deep as you can, and then try to visualize what you would do, trying to answer from your heart. That's the most important part. Answer from your heart. Do not use your logic here. Feel free to vividly imagine what you would be doing in these situations, what you would feel, how would you act, and so on. Try to do something similar to what we did in day one of this challenge, imagining our perfect day. By answering this question, several things may happen. One, maybe your answer may be similar to the life that you are currently living, which means that you are living your purpose, that you are passionate about what you do, and that you are expressing your unique and special talents day after day. Two, maybe to a certain extent, your answer may be close to what you're doing right now, but still you have doubts, and you must work on finding that balance between what makes you feel true passionate and what does not. And three, maybe your answer is totally unrelated to or very different to what each one of your days really looks like. And that means that you are far from living your purpose. Whatever the answer, what is really interesting is that if by doing the exercise you discover that what you would really like to be doing is actually something very different in your life, but you are not at that point yet, this visualization will have given you some clues to help you on your way towards your purpose. It will really help you to gain awareness on where are you right now? And what is it that you would really like to be or have in your life? So the second question is, what are your natural talents? So this question is sometimes a little bit complicated to answer because normally what we do with extreme ease is something so natural in yourself that you do not even realize that these are actually your real natural talents. And in fact, this is so true that you normally become aware of certain talents when other people praise you for them. When answering this question, we usually have in our mind a preconceived idea about what it really means to have talent. And this is something that Sahara Rose explains very clearly in her book, Discover Your Dharma, book that I highly recommend reading, by the way. So in this book, she mentions that when we think about talent, the first thing that comes to our mind are people who clearly stand out in, I don't know, painting or singing or acting or dancing and so on, right? And if we do not fit in any of those categories, we kind of conclude that we do not have any type of special talent, as if talent was only for certain types of activities that our society applauds and accepts, such as, in television programs. But in reality, talent does not have to be anything like that. In fact, in the majority of cases, the talents of each person manifest themselves daily in small and ordinary actions. It could be that your natural talent is just creating beauty through decoration. Maybe it's empathizing with others. Maybe it's looking after those around you, making people laugh. Maybe it's being super meticulous, maybe combining items of clothing very well, maybe telling stories, organizing, or planning, or cooking, maybe easily understanding what numbers express, or just swimming, or understanding animals, or I don't know, assembling things, or maybe writing, and a long, 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 etc. of talents that are really as varied as there are people on this planet. But the key is that each person has, and this is super important, please listen carefully to what I'm going to say right now. Each person has a unique talent and a form of expressing it that is so individual and special that no one else in the world has it. And it is precisely there where the first key of what you have come to do in this world is found. And when your natural talent combines with your particular form of displaying it, showing it to others, this is when you give life to your inner truth. That's when you embody your purpose. That's when you give form to your deepest inner self and bring magic to everything that you do. And in the end, we are all artists in our lives. We are here to shape our own particular path, following the purpose that our soul has come to reach here on earth. And following this path may evolve a variety of actions, such as writing or singing or dancing, or maybe teaching or designing or analyzing or producing or coaching or blogging or whatever. And it is your function to discern, differentiate which medium flows most naturally with you and just use it to manifest your purpose in life. So, question number 3, what are your passions? So, let me tell you that your passions were given to you as a gift, and they are a powerful sign of what your soul has come here to do. So, to identify your passions, think about those activities that maybe you do out of pure pleasure because you enjoy them and they make you feel good and fill you with energy every time you do them. And in the majority of cases, these activities usually match our hobbies, both current or maybe past. But what happens is that on occasions, as you advance through your life and you become an adult, it is very easy to forget what your true passions are. And it is quite normal to end up filling up your time with activities that are perhaps better accepted or even better valued in your surroundings, and gradually forgetting about your true passions. But when you take up those activities that fill you with excitement and passion and emotion again, something magical happens inside. Suddenly you kind of reawakened that part that was sleeping inside, that part of you that is the authentic you, actually. And so begins a process of internal alignment between your life and your soul. And it is not unusual to realize that although years have passed, you're still able to keep playing basketball just as well as you used to do when you were 10 years old, right? Or maybe you have not forgotten any of those super awesome tricks on the skateboard, or that it is as if it were yesterday that you were lost on that surfboard, or that you still smile when you are drawing, or that dancing makes you feel special, or singing lights your heart up. All those examples are nothing more than your soul beginning to talk to you again through those activities that form an essential part of your inner self. And the most beautiful thing about rediscovering these passions when you are older, after years maybe of not doing them, is that you return to these activities from a different perspective and you find a new meaning for yourself and your life in them. And you understand that even though you are deep down the same unchanging truth of your soul, in the outermost part of you realizes that you are not the same person as you were years ago when doing these activities. So you are a different person, right? You have matured, you have evolved, and you have also acquired many more layers that sometimes do not allow you to walk freely through life. So during this process of once again including the things that make you feel good in your life, you are beginning to once more open your heart to your purpose. And you are gradually once again beginning to listen to your inner truth, an inner truth that you are more inclined to listen to when you were young. And it is because of this that quite often, when you did these things as a kid, maybe left your parents or friends open mouth. Because simply put, at that time, you were really being yourself and you were expressing your uniqueness or your authenticity through certain ways of acting or maybe doing things. So, reconnecting with your passions in your life will cause a domino effect on your days, filling them with more happiness and self confidence and positivity, and giving you the strength that you need to begin powerful and permanent changes in your life. So, if you have doubts about this and you do not know how to identify what your passions are, just remember those things that made you feel good when you were a kid. And begin doing those activities again without thinking, of course, whether they are the most appropriate activities or not. And even do not overthinking if those are the activities that fills you with the most passion. Simply begin heading in that direction. Your soul will gradually guide you towards those activities that really increase your vibrational state to the maximum. So you just have to let yourself be guided by intuition and what you feel lights your inner fire again. And let yourself be guided by the emotions that you feel inside and ignore the significance or seriousness. Just learn to be comfortable playing again, having fun again. This is a game, actually, right? This is just the beginning to once again listening to what your soul wants from you. Question number 4: what obstacles have you overcome? Let's start by saying that every single day you overcome obstacles. That's it. Sometimes they are big, sometimes they are small, but there are always obstacles that you deal with and overcome throughout your life and on a daily basis. So many people think about significant traumatic events when they are being asked this question. And they think about the stories of people who, after experiencing fairly traumatic events or even very tragic ones in their life, had to undergo an enormous exercise of personal growth. And it was through this that they found the great purpose of their life, right? And in fact, they are known for it. However, although it is true that this is the path of some people, it does not mean that the obstacles are only those types of events. The obstacles can have a thousand faces depending on the person suffering them and their context. Some may find, for example, obstacles in the fact of not being able to get up every morning when the alarm first goes off. For others, it could be not having the ability to talk to the person they really like. it could be fear of cats. For others, maybe it's not having sufficient willpower to stop eating that chocolate croissant in the mid afternoon. Or maybe for others, perhaps it's feeling caught in the middle of a downward spiral and depression without being there any apparent significant cause. So, whatever the obstacle, there is none that is bigger or more important than another. All of them have great importance to the person suffering them at that time. So, learning to remove that stereotype that we have of what should be considered true obstacles in your life is the key in understanding that each and every one of us have the capacity and overcome actually obstacles every single day to continue evolving in our life. So much so that when overcoming these obstacles, you become an expert in them because you focus all your interest on them and on overcoming them, right? And in fact, it is within this constant learning process of overcoming obstacles that you start finding clues about what you are destined to be and do in this life. Question number 5. Would you like to share it with others? So it is important to clarify that your purpose is not really about perfecting your passions or explaining the obstacles you have overcome. And it is rather understanding what makes you feel good during this process of refining yourself, what it is that you would really like to share with the world. So, in my case, for example, I love doing yoga every day, and it is one of my greatest passions. But I know that it is not my calling to become a yoga teacher and spending hours of my day giving classes on a mat. And in the same way, you can have certain passions that are simply there because they have the function of increasing your vibrational state, but not because they are called to be your purpose by themselves. In fact, your purpose is more likely to be something that you would like to share with others. But at the same time, there are times that you have felt embarrassed or afraid to do so. And it is precisely there where you should begin to investigate to see how this activity may relate to your purpose in life. So, in the end, finding your purpose is nothing more than being open on the path that is gradually being revealed before you and learning to listen to your intuition more and more and to uncover those small gems and treasures that your soul has been showing you to guide you towards your purpose here on earth. So, for today's challenge, I'd like to propose you to reflect on each of these 5 questions. And before doing it, I'd recommend finding a quiet place, tuning into your inner self by closing your eyes first, slowing down your mind, slowing down your breathing for a few minutes, and then start answering these questions from your heart. Do not overthink the answers. Let your heart speak and write the first things that come to your mind. Feel free to do so because nobody is watching. So it is just a conversation with yourself, only for yourself. So you can be here totally, completely honest. So these are the 5 questions. 1, if money was not an issue and you had all the time in the world, what would you do? 2, what are your natural talents? 3, what are your passions? 4, what obstacles have you overcome? And 5, would you like to share it with others? I hope you enjoyed today's reflection and journaling. And that's all from me today. If you like this episode, please like, please rate, subscribe, or even share it with a friend. Thank you for listening and see you in the next one.